which is her schoolmates. Schoolmates are very brutal, especially in primary school. They are wicked. They'll just leave her or be making fun of her. But you see, in Cheta's mind, everybody has a problem but her. So she's not learning what she should. And then Cheta moves to university and gets a boyfriend. See, boyfriends, your first boyfriends, they're the worst, they're the worst teachers. He will carry Cheta's hat like this and he will stone it on the ground. And when they say, what happened? You say that girl does not know how to talk. Cheta will go live there saying men has come. And you see, the characters in Cheta's life have changed as she has grown. But the script is still the same. All we are trying to teach her is how to talk to people. Right? People are more important than things. If I can leave this in your character and you can assimilate it and find a way to get it into your life, you can never be poor. Listen to me. You can never be poor. People are more important than things, and people are God's priority. I said this earlier. If you can just assimilate this and then take it back to your everyday and talk to yourself, meditate on it and say, how do I reflect a deeper love for humanity? We said innovation is only open to those whose love work with humanity is in line, is perfect. How do I assimilate? Which means that poverty is reserved for selfish people. And if you sit down and listen to people who lack, people who are poor, if you sit down and listen to them talk, you will find out why. People are more important than things. Right? So how do you grow as a human being? You grow by finding space for people in your life. That's the single deepest, most secret law of prosperity in the world. It's simple, but it is secret. If you unpack it and you unpack it gradually, you will see how deep and how true it is that you grow by finding space for people in your life. There are certain things I can't say over this kind of atmosphere, but I want to go a bit deeper, right? People are God's priority. So let's put it this way. The more people whose lives you touch, the more money you are allowed to make and keep. Now, let me express it this way. And please feel free to answer me in the chat. Let's take a poll, a small poll. When you think about footballers today, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, people who earn like 500,000 pounds a week, 600,000 euros a week, $400,000 in 1 week. Let me ask you, and I want to just answer in the chat room, please feel free. Do you think they earn too much? I'll give you 2 minutes. Let's answer in the chat. Do you think those guys earn too much? Be honest. Be honest. Say what's in your mind. Yes, so all the answers I've got now have said no, 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 no. So thank God. It means that at least we're not teaching. It's getting to people. What is being taught here is getting to people, and we're all on the same page. So I've not gotten any yes, which makes me happy. Now I want to break down their salary and their remuneration structure and use it as a remuneration structure for life. Right? Now, football used to be a game where people just play, people come and watch, based on based on the value you create by gate takings, you know, they share the money, players earn money, the industry is good, right? Then TV rights came into football, right? TV rights came into football and everything went crazy. It means that in that small stadium that used to take 80,000 people, where their viewership was 80,000 people before. I've loved football for a long time. When I was younger, I remember we'd go to the bus stop to get complete football and complete sports every Monday to know what happened in the Premiership over the weekend. Right? We have to go and quickly get the magazines. But now TV rights came, and this is where innovation, right? Someone says, these guys are suffering now. Open up the whole thing, right? And TV rights came now, and we can watch what is happening in the Premiership immediately. So the audience that used to be about 80,000 is now 2 billion. About 2 billion people in the world, 3 billion, watching this young man kick a leather ball around. Now, let me ask you this. If there's a business you do that 2 billion people are watching, what should you be earning? I want you to think about it. Because I said it and I feel that maybe we didn't get it, that wealth is a numbers game. Wealth is a numbers game. Isaiah said it. Isaiah saw it. Isaiah said that day, he said the glory of the Lord's house will be lifted up above every other nation. He said, and above all the mountains, he said, all nations shall stream into it. And he used the word stream into it. So this is a numbers game. And the question is, how do I get all nations to stream into what I do? Remember that we said in Ezekiel that God said to the king, right? Remember we said God said to the king, through your traffic and your wisdom. So it's not enough to have wisdom. You can have wisdom and you can be sharing your wisdom in obscurity. Nobody will see it. It doesn't mean you are less wise than the guy who is in the open. But because you are in obscurity, nobody's seeing it. Now, in order to complete the wealth cycle, you need to add traffic to your wisdom. How do I traffic my wisdom? That's the question you need to be asking for the next 3 weeks. That this product I have is a good traffic product. How do I traffic it so that 2 billion people can watch it? So look at the World Cup final. Lionel Messi has the final penalty. He plays it into the net. And the blood pressure of 1 billion men comes down. Do you think he has enough? You see, so the way you see it has changed. I've had the privilege of going to Barcelona more than once. First time I went to Barcelona, Lionel Messi was in Barcelona. Second time I went to Barcelona, he had left. And the difference was clear in the economy. Right? First time I went to Barcelona, he was there. There was this big mural of him in the airport. Right? You enter the airport, you're going to your hotel. Everybody is selling either a Messi jersey, this Messi bobblehead, just souvenirs on the road, which means that the guy that didn't even have a job has created an economy for them. Second time I went to Barcelona, those things were not there. There was no player that had filled his shoes to be able to create that economy. All the bobbleheads, all the Messi souvenirs, jerseys. In fact, they were still selling his jerseys for his new club. I want to break down, because when I say that wealth is a people game and a traffic game, I want you to break down this thing and be able to use it. And that's why I'm breaking it down this way. How do I traffic my wisdom? Right? 2, I said that the simple law of wealth is the more people I can create space for in my life, the more money I'm allowed to make. Right? The more people I can create space for in my life, the more money I'm allowed to make. If I said to Sean, I'll use Sean because Sean is my host today. If I said to Sean, so Sean, your your managers and you have a business and every month you're paying 10 million naira in salaries. Right, Sean? If I said that to Sean, or if I said that to anybody here, what's your first reaction? 10 million in salaries. How? You see, that's poverty. Because you cannot accommodate, your soul cannot accommodate it. But if a wealthy disposition, like if I'm paying 10 million in salaries, then what am I earning? That's a wealthy disposition. Some people are so bad at it that they are just like, how can I be paying people that much? So your managers are earning 2 million naira, your juniors are earning 500, the intermediates are earning 1 million. You have 10 staff and you're paying 10 million in salaries. And you're like, what? That's overpaying them now. You see, that mindset means that you have not created space for them in your life. Meanwhile, you're here dreaming of private jet life. The people that are entering private jet, what do you think they're paying in salaries? You have to understand that it's a whole. I say this because ever since I've started speaking at House of Saviors, this first week, my life has changed, right? In that space of 5-6 weeks, I have moved to another level. And I realized that it's possible for us to teach these things and people may not get it and may stay the same. As in literally move to another level, right? And it's just God, right? But it's also following principles and he's leading. So the first thing I've said about wealth, I wanted you to ram it down your mind, is that it is a people game and it's a game of numbers, traffic. So don't think about how you can make more money. Think about how you can get more people space in your life. So if you read what the Bible says about, it says it shall be like a tree planted by the irrigation channels. It says leaves will not wither, right? So it's describing that blessed man as someone whose leaves do not wither, because the first thing the leaves do is that they are a sign of fruitfulness. The second thing is that they are shed for a weary traveler. There are places where people can hide under the leaves and rest. You must be a place where people can hide and rest. So I hear people praying, oh, move, go to Zarephath. For there, I've commanded a widow to feed you. So God should move them to where? What of you? How about you being the widow that is feeding somebody? How about you being the one that has been commanded to protect and provide for? And this is the mindset of the blessed, right? So I want you to start to shift that mindset, that it is the liberal soul that will be made fat. Not every soul, the liberal soul. Liberality is not a function of your pockets, it's a function of the condition of your soul. If you're not liberal, you cannot be made fat. And so you must accommodate people. So what else did I say about wealth? I think there's one thing I didn't say, which I will say after this point. The other thing I said about wealth is that wealth is not created, it is inherited, if you remember. Passed down between family members. That in your journey through life, God is going to send you siblings. You know, recently we have been talking about growing our company. And we have a pretty, mid-sized company. But I've been saying to God that how do we break the company into the likes of and start giving the big four in our industry give them sort of competition. And when I say that, everybody looks at me and says, this guy, you're dreaming. Now, do you even know what you're talking about? You want to give the big four in consulting competition. But I know what's in my heart, right? So I say, how do we grow that industry? Because if you look at Access Bank, GT Bank, I've studied all those people, and it didn't take them more than 20 years, you know? And 20 years is a function of light. Remember that light collapses time, right? So it didn't take them that time. All they did was they recognized their siblings, right? They partnered with the right people, and they kept moving. Even the big four are brand now. It's partnerships that are running it. So just going on and on. And recently someone came into the business and it just dropped in my head that, look, the reward for equity, the reward for capital is not salary. Don't pay this person a salary. Offer them equity. And it just clicked. As I offered the person equity, it's like the business just moved to the next level because now you have more than just me bringing my life into the business. Someone else is bringing their life into the business. I've been in the UK for the past 4 weeks now, just chilling with my family, and things are going. And this is how you build succession, and this is how you build systems. This is systems intelligence. Sometimes wealth, systems intelligence is required. In fact, systems intelligence is a requirement for wealth. So it says he said the pillars of the earth belong to the Lord. On top of it, he placed the world. The earth is the container of God's resources. On top of it, he has placed a system to govern the distribution. Systems intelligence is a prerequisite for sustainable wealth. And so somehow we've now become a bigger company and we are growing. And at the same time, our level has just changed. I mean, I was one of the new accounts we signed in America. They were going to release a press release. And when I read the press release, this is a top 10 healthcare business in the world. When I read the press release, I was humbled. I said, is this us? You know? And I just imagine that what God is doing. You see, but you have to be on that alignment. So that's the second thing. The first thing about wealth, like I said, is a people game. It's all about people. The second thing about wealth is that it cannot be created. It is inherited. Some of you might need to go back to your siblings and buy expensive gifts. The ones that you have stoned. The ones that you have gotten angry with. And you have said, is it me that's feeding? Is it him that's feeding me? You should get out. You might need to go back to him or her and say, I'm sorry. Because you will be suffering, the person will be suffering. Because your wealth is in each other's hands. And that humility is required. The third thing about wealth that I'm not sure I said okay, so I said it's a people game. I remembered it just now. I forgot it again. It's about people. 2, it's about relationships in that, yes, you can't create it. You inherit it, right? 3, wealth is emulating God's character, right? Wealth is about emulating one of God's major characters. I'm not sure I said this earlier, but it is very interesting. And in order to be wealthy sustainably, you have to, like God, emulate his omnipresence, right? You have to emulate his omnipresence. In order to be wealthy sustainably, you have to emulate God's omnipresence. Now, because we are humans, we cannot afford, we can't be omnipresent. We can be what I call polypresent. Wealthy people are polypresent, which means that they don't work with their blood to make money. They have passive income. And that income ends for them even when they're sleeping. So from the minute you have an investment portfolio, a part of you is working when you're sleeping, to the minute you have a product in the market, right? So I'm talking to you now with my laptop. There's Windows on that laptop, right? Bill Gates is in my house, whether I like it or not. I have my iPhone. Steve Jobs is in my house. It's polypresence. You might think it's funny, but it's polypresence. You have to remember, it's a people game, so you get your products into the hands of as many people as possible. And that's why God himself in order to be the father of the father, the wealthiest has to be omnipresent. So omnipresence is the secret of wealth. You have to be everywhere. Sometimes you'll be in rooms where you cannot be. Again, it will now revert to how you manage people, right? If you don't manage people well, they will do everything in their power to make sure that when they're talking about money in a room, you are not there. I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've seen it where you go for meetings, you come back from those meetings, and someone just whispers and says, that young man that came with you, please don't bring him the next time, because he didn't know what to say. He said something that was out of turn. So those are three things I want to start off by saying. I said I wanted to give us time to talk today. So I'm done. I want to see if there's feedback. Let's talk to each other. Let's talk about questions. Let's talk about challenges, real life challenges that you have. Michelle, the floor is open. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Efo. Thank you very much for that very insightful session. Brief, but very loaded. Let me ask the house, do we have anybody with questions? Questions
or
that we want to ask
that you want to share?
Yeah, or experiences that you want to share, or challenges that you think EFO can help us with. But before, while we're waiting for comments from people, okay, EFO, I want to ask a question. So you talked about us having to become another person to achieve our dreams, right? That the person that we are now may not be should I say empowered enough, or may not be
because I said this show cannot be president?
If you looked at my face at that time, I frowned that, me, get, I can be president, though. Okay, so you said we need to become another person to achieve our dreams. Some people may be at loss, that who is that person how do you determine that person that you really need to become to achieve the dreams, right? That, okay, so let me use myself as an example. Okay, so you've said, I
Oh, wow. Shell has hung. I think she's with you. Get the question she's trying to ask.
Yes, I do.
I'm back.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Sean.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's raining here. I'm sorry. So, okay, so let me just be quick. So let me use myself as an example that you said, okay, I can be president, What do I need to think about? Because there are a lot of people who have dreams, and like you have, rightly said, we may need to change to become. How do people know what exactly they need to become to achieve those dreams?
All right. So essentially, growth must be your paradigm. First of all, your paradigm in life, or your growth paradigm, must be that if there are things you want that are not in your life, then there's something you don't know. If your growth paradigm is that then there's something wrong with somebody else, then you're going to always pass the buck. Right? Remember my experience with Cheta, where she says this, the world is mad. Then you find out that you're in a bubble. But if you always say there's something you don't know, then you go and grow. Then the process of becoming somebody else is actually a growth process. It starts from the inside and it shows on the outside. Water will always find its level, right? You can't, I always tell people, don't try and show me what you do. You come into a room, you want to show, no, what you know is already showing. The level of life you can live easily and stresslessly, it's already showing. Everybody can see it, right? So How do you know? You try out things. It's always a test. If he rejects you, you have not grown to that level. Yuck. Subject yourself to growing, right? I'll give you a small example. I remember maybe 20 something, 15, 20 years ago, applied for American visa, UK visa. They said no. And I remember when I stopped applying, I said to myself, I said, I'm not applying again. Because I can't be collecting a show like this every time. There's something, we don't meet a criteria. You know, there's a criteria I don't meet. I will go and meet it. Just a simple example, right? I remember when I went to Europe for the first time, they came to, in fact, it was Japan. They came to carry my passport. I couldn't fill it in Japanese anyway, and they came to fill it themselves. So I'd gone back. I said, I will not apply again until I create so much value that they're looking for me everywhere, right? So and that's what it is. The me who was young then could not do it. And instead of admitting it, we go and knock our heads against it and then get frustrated and lose all your energy there, you know? You need to understand that you, at some point, you stop. How do you stop, right? And then decide, I will grow into this. It's the same thing. You go into a place. I mean, Jimovia started the boat club, right? Or no, the club, Civic Center, because they didn't allow him join the big boys club. He said, I'll go and start my club. You grow into it. And there must be an anger button inside you that facilitates growth when things are, but sometimes in life we just take it, and then we try again as if there's a criteria you didn't meet. Don't try again. Calm down and grow. Give yourself time. But then attend to your daily growth. By the time I was applying later, I had published, my face was on websites of international companies. And by the time so they were checking it. You go for your interviews and they don't ask you anything. They just, because they've done all the work. They've already seen all the work. So essentially, now, that's one level. Now, applying, of course, for passports, for visas, now with the permit to live in another country outside Nigeria, it's another level where they don't even ask you questions again. There was a time in my life when I was younger. If I'm going through, because of my size, if I'm going through immigration, it's always fear. Any country, they will profile me, delay me for 2 hours, and just say, sit down there. What are you coming to do here? But that time has passed because I've just outgrown. Now, it's not my age that made me outgrow it, because sometimes people think that growth is a function of the calendar. Age is a wicked thing. You can grow or not grow. It's a function of light. So it's putting that light, growing in understanding. I have a lot of questions here. So I hope I answered that question.
Yes, you did. Okay, so thank you for that, Efo. Let me take the questions online. So the first one says, please explain why you feel wealth cannot be created but inherited. That's from Rosemary.
There's something called the inheritance principle. First of all, wealth cannot be created because everything has been created. Everything is already created. It's going to be passed down.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun. That thing that you want is in somebody's hand somewhere. It's in the family's hand somewhere. And in his story, they're passing it down from generation to generation. But they're not necessarily passing it down biologically. That's the way God operates. He's passing it down. So it's why he said God of Isaac, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob could not create anything that Abraham had not created. So the question is, and then I read 1 Samuel 2:7 during one of the meetings. It said it causes the beggar to inherit. The word inherit is always used when they are talking about wealth because it's passed down. And then he has put it in the hands of fellow people so that people that are badly behaved can remain poor. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even if your parents handed over money from you, if you are badly behaved, you will lose it eventually.
That's true.
First generation wealth creators can never be badly behaved. You know, because it is the security man that will call you and say, "Okay, pass here." Based on how you have. I mean, there's a deal. There's something I was doing the state government that they were owing me money for like 14 months. And something happened that they had to pay me 4 times the amount. And so when I say these things, I can't say the details, but when I say these things, I'm not joking. This is the reality I live. And what had happened was, it was the procurement officer, lowly procurement officer, that had reached out to me and told me what was happening. Procurement officer. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to just understand that people are God's priority, and your job is to be nice to people so that you may entertain angels unawares.
Yes, that's true.
So my answer, Rosemary, wealth cannot be created because everything has already been created. It just needs to be passed down. So what you are looking for is somewhere. Question is, where is it?
And may we find it. Okay, thank you, Efo. Now another one. Somebody is interested in your books. The person believes.
If you're in the UK, I can send it to you. I'm in the UK now. If you're in Nigeria, I can have it sent to you now. If you're in the US, I'll give it to PF when it's going back.
Okay, so Favor A, where are you? Let us know so that FO can know how to send you the book. He wants to give. Is it a gift?
No,
FO?
you can't. Buy the truth.
Okay. Oh, you buy the truth.
Yeah, you
Fantastic.
buy the truth.
Okay, so Favor A, let us know where you are so that you can buy the truth. Are you in US, UK, Nigeria?
It's not expensive, no.
Let us know. Okay. Okay, so Queen says the anatomy of business. She got it on Amazon. Now, Estelle says question is making prices lower and
Sorry,
accessible.
Sean, before you go on, do you know that I've never received a dime from Amazon on all the books that they've sold? And
You're
I
joking.
never plan
Why
to.
that?
And I never plan to.
Okay, why?
Because I just wanted it. It needed to be on Amazon.
Okay, but the money goes to Amazon.
Yes, but it's not about the money for me. It's not about the money. It needs to be on Amazon, and it needs to be selling on Amazon, my 2 books. Now, I'd written Business at the Speed of Rema before I knew that Bill Gates had written Business at the Speed of Light. I didn't even know, to be honest. I finished the book. I said, I will not now publish. So when people go to and they check Business at the Speed of Light, Bill Gates will come out, I will come out. I needed that to happen. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, and then of course, there are so many other things we did with it. How much, except, how much is the money? I'm just saying that there are many other things that are more important than money.
Yeah, so that also highlights your point on how do I traffic my wisdom,
exactly.
Right? Is that in line with that?
Yes. Okay. You can traffic it. There are platforms. You can do it personally. There are also platforms you can use. And you can even come up with innovations to drive your wisdom. Everybody's house has a gate. What will make them open their gate to you is the question you need to be asking. Once they open their gates to you. So I recently signed a global hospital, like I said, as the rep for Nigeria. And because it's such a big hospital in America, people started calling me, and they haven't even done a press release or anything yet. So one of the reasons I'm in the UK is because we've been having meetings in London. So people started calling me. And one of the things you can use to drive your brand is association, right? So by the time people associate our brand with that brand, they've naturally put us somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. So I find myself getting high-level calls from different places. So sometimes you have to also sit down and think, how do I traffic my brand? Okay, who do I associate with? How do I get this person to open his gate to me? How do I find their weak points so that they can open their gates to me? Because once they open their gates to you, everything you do, I've done things in obscurity. I've done brilliant things in obscurity. It's not easy. Nobody will see it. And I've done mediocre, what I consider mediocre, things on a solid platform. It's sweet. It's just, I even consider it mediocre, but because it's on a good platform, everybody shouts. There's a difference. You don't want to be a genius in obscurity. You'll be like the foolish man that doesn't know the road to the market. Right?
Okay, therefore, thank you so much. So everything is not about money all the time. Okay, sometimes what we do, can bring
Favor
traffic
is on the
or
UK.
can build.
Okay, Favor, send me. Can you send me a private message with your postcode? I'll send it to you now.
Okay, so Estelle says making prices lower and accessible to everyone, a way of making my services, products accessible to many people. Need practical ideas on this. Making prices lower and accessible. Is it a way of making your products accessible to many people? I think that's in line with what we just said now, but you may want to address it.
First of all, price wars are the lowest kinds of wars that you can fight. I'm not sure you want to get involved in it. Do you understand? Price wars is rougher war. You might not want to get, it might be the toughest you have to fight. So I won't say making prices lower, except you have enough, like a monopoly or a monopsony, where you can now alter the price like Aliko does after he has brought the price lower, chased everybody out of the market, and he raises the price. Innovation on bundles, how to bundle it, right, is what you should be asking for. How can I get into a place where that product is the only thing in its class? Right? It's tough, or it seems tough, but if you really, really think about it, it's not that tough. Where the product is the only thing in its class, then you can sell it at a premium. People, let me tell you this. Sometimes you don't need to change what you're doing, you just need to change who you are doing it for. Do you understand what I'm saying? The first set of dreams that Joseph interpreted were pro bono. The next set changed his life. You see, dream interpretation he was selling. But the first set he interpreted in prison free of charge. The next set he interpreted to a king, changed his life. So please don't look at price. Don't look at price, because then you might show that you see yourself as a grasshopper. Do you hear what I'm saying? When they were entering into the promised land, he said, we are grasshoppers at their sight. If we charge heavy, will they run? Let me tell you, my brother, when I started writing business plans, my first business plan was 100,000 naira. My salary that time was 111,000 naira. I said, let me try it. A friend of mine paid the 100,000 naira. I said, well, I said, the next one, let me charge 200,000. My salary was still 111,000. So when I started the entry level, 200,000 they paid. I said, hey, Jesus. Then one man came and said he wanted to write one. I said 400,000. I was shaking. This man will go, he will go, he will go. The man said, this is anyway, I'll pay 400,000, I quit my job. Listen, then I realized at some point that there are some people that will not patronize me because it's 400,000, it's too cheap. So I had to up my game, increase the quality. Increase the quality, keep working at it, right? Don't let price be the first beacon you put on the ground that determines business. Right now, when people don't want to pay my price, you know what I say? I say to them, I say, you know what? Maybe I'm not the right person for you. Maybe I should introduce you to someone I trained so that you'll be around your price point. They will get angry. No, I want the best.
And you pay for
if
it.
You want the best. You have to pay for it. You understand? No, I said, but my boys are good though. You know, especially in the industry that we have chosen. Now, why can we build like that? Because we are the firstborns of the industry. I heard that Laulu Alabi was here last week. Those are my childhood friends. And I was laughing, when PF was telling me. I said because successful people knew that they were successful from day one. Do you hear me? I did not say they were going to be successful because it's past. They knew that they were successful from day one. So even when we were still sleeping on the floor in the room in Unilag, Laolu, myself, we knew we were successful. Do you understand? In school. So essentially, but you see, if you say there's a place where knowing your value can be arrogance, when you cannot support it with competence. Yeah, it won't work. So you must be able to support it with competence. But don't let price guide. I used to think there was something such as pricing yourself out of the market until I realized that how much TY Bello is collecting to shoot picture. I know. Oh my God. My God. I was talking to a doctor in the clinic the other day, just here. They said I had to medevac a patient to the UK from Nigeria. And you're complaining that business class is 5 million. Well, first class is 10 million. Medevac was $100,000. And the family paid it in Nigeria, they didn't.
Stop blinking.
Without blinking, they said, please, our daddy must not die. I said, yeah. See his levels, it depends on where you want to play. That's it.
And anyone can play anywhere. Depends on how you see yourself.
David Ben-Gurion told the Israelites, he said all experts are experts of the past. There's no expert of the future. Do you understand what that means? Anyone overtaking is allowed.
Thank you so much, Efo. So let's go to the next one. Wura says, the procurement officer who gave you the heads up, is it by just being good to people? How do we do good without dashing someone money or funding anything for people? In fact, you see this I don't know how to classify them. Drivers, gate men, they have all the information. That's one thing I've experienced. A lot of information, and if you're good to them, not necessarily, I know I will leave effort to answer. I just wanted to share this. Not necessarily by dashing them money, even treating them as human beings alone.
That's the biggest challenge they have. That's the biggest challenge they have in this life. People don't treat them as human beings.
Yes, it's not by money alone. Sometimes they don't need your money. Just treat me like a human being, and most of us don't. Okay, Efo, you have to go. Yeah.
So yeah, you got it. You already got it. You answered the question. You answered the question. I found out, when I was running business in Ore, that the biggest problem that the drivers of those buses are, God is good, all of them, is that they don't get treated like human beings. Right? So beyond just giving them money, just say sir when you greet them. You'll be surprised. I mean it, And you hear some of them say, the way you approach me is just, they say it. They say the way you approach me is why I decided to tell you this. Let me tell you this. If you are leaving church on Sunday, listen to me. If you are leaving church on Sunday and your pastor wants to bless you and he says the favor of the Lord will favor you, right? You see that favor is hanging in the air. There's a prerequisite to it being unlocked. You know what unlocks favor? Go and read Proverbs. Good understanding procures, which means purchases favor. It says procures favor. Good understanding is a procurement officer that gets you favor. So without good understanding, so your good understanding is what needs to be done. I hope I answered that question.
Yes, you did. What needs to be done? May we have that understanding to know what needs to be done. Okay, another one is collapsing time by tapping into light. How do I know which light, that is, problems to solve, if I have multiple ideas that can serve people?
Okay, so one of the things you must learn about yourself, and this is a problem of multi-talented people, is that they try and do everything at once because they can. You can't, right? You can't do everything at once. You have to know how to do it in installments, one after the other. PF knows this. I play 5 musical instruments, right? Which means I'm a typical someone who would have gone into recording as an artist. And because my background was, I was in choirs with Nathaniel Bassi and Victoria, and everybody naturally thought I would be a worship leader, right? I don't play in any church. Today I went to church and I sat down and I was listening. I don't preach in any church except they invite me to come and preach. I don't play music. It's not my season to preach and be on the piano or play whatever in any church. It's a policy season. You have to understand when you're in school, and you have to understand it. Once you burn out, the fact that you have the talent does not mean you should do it. So if you watch the environment, like the Sons of Issachar, you will know when it's time to implement what. Right? That's wisdom collapses, light collapses time, which means it shortens time. So you keep getting better and better at it. For instance, if you're in AI, everybody knows that AI is going to be. You keep learning your AI, right? So you keep getting better and better and better and better at it. But don't just burn yourself out. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't burn yourself out. If you burn yourself out because God, then you're blaming God, you gave me all this talent. And I hear people say that prayer too. God, you gave me this desire. No, you can manage your desires. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're not an animal, you're a human being.
Yeah.
You have been given a faculty. You can manage your desires. Don't burn out. There will come a season when you use all those things, and there will come a season when you may not need it. So calm down.
Okay, so prioritize, take them one at a time. That's what I hear. Sometimes you may need, when the need arises, you will use those talents.
Yes, and there's a scale of preference. What's more important now? You must have that scale of preference. What's more important now? You do it.
Okay. So before we miss this, people are asking for your book in Nigeria, in US, in UK. I don't know if you want to drop a number or something that they can call.
Yes, I just dropped, right after. I dropped the number.
Okay.
In Nigeria.
Okay.
And then I'm going to drop my number. Anybody that wants it,
should contact you.
yes. I would either, if you're in Nigeria, US, or UK, I can have it sent to you. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question is
Business at the Speed of Rema is out of print, so you will just have Anatomy of Business now.
Okay. So Wura is asking, how did you arrive at knowing and doing what you are so good at?
I didn't arrive.
How
It was
did
a
you
shot
even
in the
get to
dark.
know that this is your calling?
There is no such thing. Let me tell you the truth. The truth is that everything I found to do, I did with my heart. That's where we found the calling. First of all, I cleaned my heart of every passion. I was not passionate about anything. The first thing
You're not
was to take
passionate
care of my
about
family.
anything.
I remove all the passions. There are distractions when you're hungry and when you're poor. It's a distraction. I'm telling you, your goal is first feed your family and take care of everybody, right? After doing that, remove all the passion. Which passion? For where? See, I'm passionate because people get distracted, forgetting that you will do your passion eventually.
Okay.
So initially, what did I do? What my hands found to do, I did. Any work, any work. Anything my hands found to do, I did excellently. And then I started to build skills. I started to build skills. And then I found this thing that, I didn't even know existed. I did not go around, and this is one thing that people do a lot of that frustrates me. I did not go around asking people, what should I go into now? Because I would have ended up being a zombie and I would have missed what God wanted for me. What should I do now? Which business should I do now? Do you understand?
Yeah. So
No,
you
I didn't do that.
emptied yourself first?
I emptied myself first of everything. Remember I said at some point in one of the classes that only a man without an agenda can do the work of God or even preach the gospel. And I took out all my own agenda. If it is God that put it there, it will stay. Took it out. I just have passion for. There's no food at home. You're talking about passion. May God punish that passion. No, let me tell you why I said that. There are a lot of men and women that have used that as an excuse to do nothing. Right? Someone said amen. Oh, my God. Someone say amen. Don't mind me, I'm just a jester. But, so, and I always tell ladies this thing particularly. If you are dating a man, or you are looking, a man is talking to you, and everything they ask, what do you do? You start speaking English. You see, we want to, we will, we run. Because even the greatest companies in the world started as one thing, and they are another thing today. Nokia started selling tires. Do you understand? BMW evolved, moved his stuff to Lenovo, right? Now it's the laptops at Lenovo ThinkPad, and they've moved. They're now selling renewable energy. Why do we act as if we never change? So I see people stuck. God has blessed them with so many things, but they are stuck in, it must be this. They're stuck. It must be this. It must be this. It must be this. But you might need to interpret other people's dreams before you interpret your own dream. You might need to interpret other people's dreams. Do you get what I'm saying? You might, like Joseph, need to interpret other people's dreams before you interpret yours. Where do you put that? You hear people say, I can never work for anybody. Meanwhile, that's your mentor there. That is God ordained. He said your teachers will never be far from you. That's your teacher there. He wants to teach you something. And one day he has ordained that you will do freedom. You don't want to work with him, you will never do freedom. So you'll be there. So I've seen talented people, gifted people who are just poor. And underneath everything, they are lazy. But they'll never admit it. So I say again, God will punish that passion. Let God kill it.
Okay.
Let it come out resurrected in another form.
Okay, so Effiong agrees with you. So you just did one deliverance right now by saying, emptying your heart. A lot of people are dying in lack because they are trying to pursue their passion. Okay, may God help us. Okay, this passion thing got me stuck for years. Yeah, people are confirming. You might need to interpret other people's dreams. Yes, re-emphasizing what you have said. Thank you so much, Efo. We cannot thank you enough. People, please help us to appreciate Fisayo Okunsanya this afternoon or morning or evening, depending on where you are listening from. He has given us wonderful nuggets today. Thank you so much. Please, let's appreciate Efo. Efo, thank you so much for always being there for us, for always preparing, for always preparing to empower us. We are grateful. We know that you're a member of the family anyway, but we still need to appreciate you. And thank you. We cannot thank you enough. And we pray that God will continue to also feel you too as you are feeling us, feeling us and empowering us with, so much wisdom. And I'm just hoping that, as we are listening, we are able to apply all that we are learning, So people, please don't just listen. Don't just be wild. Let us make use of these nuggets, this very insightful information and education that we are getting, and, be able to come up too, like Fisayo, to come and dish out to other people as well. Fisayo, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Any last words?
I just want to say it's been good sharing this with everyone. I want to ask that we take this and practice it, and it will change your life. I promise you. It's like working out. It's like a muscle that when you exercise it, it's bound to change your life. I've seen it change my life. I'm not telling you things that I haven't practiced and I haven't changed. I've seen it change my life. And I want you to know that it will change your life. God bless you.
God bless you too. God bless your family. God bless your business. God bless everything that concerns you.
Amen.
I'm sure I'm speaking for everyone. Thank you so much, Efo. I think we'll let you go. So thank you, people, once again for today's session. It's been wonderful. I think I'll take some. Yes, it's recorded. I don't know. So someone is asking if this. Yes, it's also on YouTube. Okay, someone is responding to that.
Sorry, for those that want the book, please just reach out to me. I'm going to drop my numbers here in Nigeria and in the UK. Hi, how are you? In Nigeria here. Hi. I'm going to send my numbers here. Thank you. Nigeria and in the UK. Just reach out to me. I'll have the book sent to you. Yes, the book is on Amazon.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Efo. Please reach out to Efo if you need the books. Okay, let's go to our House of Saviors news. So we want to remind everyone, I think this was announced last week, the House of Saviors UK. They're coming up with this program that is coming, that is next week, Saturday. The Family Summit 2024, themed Positioning Your Family to Thrive Across Cultures. This is very essential at this time, most especially when we have a lot of our people, you know, moving across continents, across cultures and everything, right? So the people of Europe, UK are putting up this program next week, Saturday. Please ensure if you are in that zone, we have virtual tickets available. Please contact Bokun. You know, if you look at my screen, I hope everybody can see my screen. Bokun on +447960813430. And of course, our speaker, keynote speaker, is no other person than Praise Fowowe, right? So please note that number and get your virtual ticket so that you can attend, you know, this program for next week, Saturday, organized by House of Saviors UK. Okay, I hope we have the details. Okay, now we want to thank you once again for joining today's session. I'm sure